action in the state. Anchors from leading media organizations are here with me to engage the governor on the state economic reforms, infrastructural development, security challenges, social welfare priorities, and his vision for the future of Anambra State people. It is a conversation centered on accountability, transparency, and the people. I'm being joined tonight by my colleagues from the African Independent Television, Amechi Anambra, and from the Television Continental, Babade Kolade Utitoji, and from Arise Television Network, Adesua Amorua.
Thank you, Sean.
His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, is the man at the center of this conversation. Governor Soludo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Great pleasure. Great pleasure to see all of you. Welcome to Anambra. Welcome to the Lighthouse.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess you just commissioned this place.
Oh, yes. The President did. 8th of May this year. Breaking the 34-year-old jinx. Never had a government house or a governor's lodge. And so, really great pleasure. The last time we had it was in the old Amobia. Yes. We had the 3rd year anniversary somewhere else. So, we'll get a chance to take you on a tour.
So, Lighthouse, you named it in light of the nation state?
Yes.
All right. I think we'll begin the conversation. The nation is at a very sensitive and a very critical situation right now, and we have to be sensitive to that, which is what is coming from the United States President Donald Trump, where it's suggesting that Nigeria has been designated by that country from his social media posts as a country of particular concern, and went further to imply that America might come down gun blazing if certain governance and security issues are not addressed. Governor Soludo, let's begin that conversation. You've played on the global stage, and our country is in this situation. How do we respond to that kind of governance threat? Because a lot of Nigerians sees it as a threat.
Well, that is a bilateral matter. And I think such issues, the facts, the first thing must be the facts. You don't just sit somewhere and designate a country. We have to respond with the facts as they are. And you don't just wake up in one morning and then become, I'm not quite sure. I saw the social media thing, about coming to Nigeria. What are you going to Nigeria to do? To be the policeman and or take over the government or take over policing and so on and so forth. And the facts need to be out and properly dimensioned and understood, as it were. And the role of America as a partner, as a member of the United Nations, the role of Nigeria, the Nigerian government in protecting lives and properties of all Nigerians, as it were. And I think the records need to be clear. And but I think it's all a matter of conversation. As a country, America has its own right to have its own views about what's going on elsewhere. But when it comes to what it does, I'm sure it must also do what it does in terms of its own response within the realm of international law. And that's the way I will take it for now. But that is a deeper conversation. And I think I don't want us to spend much of this interview getting into it, and that is our own introspection about what goes on in the country. In this part of the world, this is Eastern Nigeria. It's not religious. People are killing themselves. Christians killing Christians. The people in the bushes are Emmanuel, John, Peter, Christian, Peter, and so on and so forth, James, who were in the bushes, and they have maimed and killed hundreds of thousands of our youth, of our people, as it were, kidnapping and maiming. It's nothing to do with religion. This is Igbos on Igbos, so to speak. So I think we need to dimension these conversations in various ways. But as for America and its own views, it's only its opinion. And I'm sure Nigerian government will be able to respond appropriately.
I know it's early, but we've got to take some water on that because that national issue deserves a lot of introspection. We're going to break everyone, but we'll be right back after now.
Okay, you're just having break now, huh?
Anambra indigenes who wants the best for the state. You can see that the governor has already surpassed his mandate. I'm based in Port Harcourt. While I was coming back, I saw the magnitude of the infrastructural revolution. That's why we call him Oluwatuegu. You understand? So he's doing quite a lot in almost all facets of our state, in education, in capacity building, and so on. So we are praying for him. We are here basically to support what is going on in our dear state. Our governor is laying a very, very solid foundation. It will be reversible from what he has done already. What we owe him is to mobilize our people in terms of sensitization, political mobilization, sensitization. We can already see what he's doing. So all we need to do is to educate our people to know exactly where they are going to cast their vote. And it's not going to be a very difficult task, because they can see what the governor has done already. So I'm also happy that he came to grace this occasion. It shows that he's a listening governor. He has honored Anambra local government, and we appreciate that. I can assure him that Anambra will vote for him.
Anambra has benefited a lot from Professor Soludo. All the way from Agolo to Egulobe, you must pass through Anambra. If you're going to Newi, you will still pass through Anambra. So, and from Egulobe to Nob, you will pass through Anambra. So, and this is dual carriage. That even as of yesterday, I was with somebody, a friend, from Anambra to Oka. The person lives in Port Harcourt, so he was saying something that the videos they were seeing online, that there is no road in Anambra. So the man was just shouting, if Soludo can do this in his first tenure, that he's from Anambra, that he will. So we, Anambra people, we are ready to vote for him. After all, our brother is not contesting for government. And nobody is contesting from Anambra. So Anambra is for APGA, and APGA is for Anambra. So that is it.
Governor Soludo's message resonates deeply with the people. His commitment to uplifting the disadvantaged through bold policies is evident.
Yeah. I've gone round and saying your farm produce. Early last year, we launched the Operation Farm to Feed in response to those who were crying for hunger and said they were having a hunger protest. Here in this part of the world, we don't go on hunger protest, we farm. We use our hands, enterprise, hard work, integrity. These are the principles, these are the virtues, these are the values we are known for. And our people responded not by crying or protesting, but by going back to the farm. Thank you very much. I deeply, deeply appreciate you. I applaud you. November 8th, or Saloko. Everywhere. This is a mass movement. We are not putting in a cover into this. It is the people, they put in their money, they put in their sweat, they are organizing this, they are going to defend the votes, and Anambra will see a vote like no other time before.
From primary to secondary school, Anambra State. Thank you, sir.
Well, Mr. Governor, I came here.
Omorwan Adesua from
Arise News
Television, and Babajide Kolade Studio of the Television Continental. Thank you so much. Let's begin again, and in a rather faster manner, because we've lost some time.
Yeah.
I was asking for your reaction to what happened, what the President of America, Donald Trump, tweeted or put out on social media. A lot of people thought that was some heavy bilateral or some kind of comment on our governance and security situation in the country, politically speaking and diplomatically speaking. How do you think Nigeria should react to that?
Well, as I was saying before we cut off, the first thing is that this is a bilateral issue. And quite frankly, when you see something on social media, I'd rather be in government now, not react very seriously to tweets or social media posts, as it were. But let me do say it's about relationship between Nigeria and America. And the relationship between both countries is governed by international law. And I'm not quite sure what will be the basis of American intervention and so on and so forth as the policeman come and enforce what and so on. Yeah, certainly if Nigeria requests, it will be a request for any assistance or military or whatever that if we deem it necessary, to request for their technology and hardware, soft power to deal with anything, insurgents and banditry and so on and so forth. So be it. But it's within Nigeria's core. I'm not quite sure anybody would. I mean, if you have policemen killing some blacks. I remember the massive Black Lives Matter protests in America and so on. And somebody would say, maybe Africa should go and invade America because the blacks are being killed in America. I'm not quite sure that is the way that goes. I think that is cause for deeper conversation. It must end in conversation. They will air their views, and I'm sure the federal government of Nigeria will be able to respond very robustly on behalf of Nigeria. Nigeria is such a big country as well, and I'm convinced that Nigeria is doing quite a whole lot to safeguard their lives and their properties. And like I said before, this conversation about banditry and killings and so on requires deeper national conversation and introspection. In this part of the world, Eastern Bloc, where 90-something% Christians, and the insurgents that were faced here and around the Southeast is Christians on Christians. It's the people in the bushes and so on, killing, kidnapping others. They are called Christians, some bear the names Christian, Emmanuel, Peter, James, John, and so on and so forth. So it's much wider than this categorization of, Christian, Muslim dimension. But, I mean, I'm always an optimist. Nigeria, I always see as half glass full. Nigeria will overcome. And in this conversation, whatever that is, it will end in conversation. Under international law.
Let's begin with this Anambra conversation. You have been in the saddle for over 40 months. You made promises. You told the people of Anambra State that you are the man who came with solution. The question they will be asking is that Charles Soludo is asking for a return. Why should they return you? Why do you deserve a re-election back into office? Do you think that you are better than the lot? What do you have to say to your solution agenda? Have you delivered?
Thank you very much, Shehu, for this. And yes, I ran on a plan. And that plan was captured in my manifesto. And that manifesto, by the way, derived essentially from the Anambra Vision 2070. We crafted a 50-year development plan, and I happened to chair the drafting of that plan. And our manifesto, Soludo Solution, a People's Manifesto for a Greater Anambra, derived from that. And this administration happened to be the very first government laying the foundation towards the accomplishment of Vision 2070. Now, I could reel out what we have done, but ultimately it is the people and the people themselves who have to score us. And if by what we see on the streets and markets and everywhere all over the state, and by what is historically new revolution that is happening in Anambra today, in terms of the people taking over our campaign, funding, and doing everything by themselves for us, it's testimonials. As we'll go on, going on campaigns through the 21 local governments, we don't have the politicians in the usual way coming to tell them it's all right. It's the testimonials from the ordinary people, from the keke drivers who ply the roads, from the Okada riders, from the market women whose children now go to school free of charge and then have free antenatal, free delivery, and so on and so forth. But let me summarize. We came with a plan, very intentional, to turn Anambra, intentionally create Anambra to become a destination point rather than a departure lounge, a preferred destination to live, invest, work, learn, relax, and enjoy. Well, I'm glad you guys went to the Fun City, the relaxation and enjoyment part, and many more. And we encapsulated this agenda based on 5 key pillars. 1, security, law, and order. The second is infrastructure and economic transformation. The third, human capital and social agenda. The fourth is reinventing the way government works. And the fifth is our environment, having a planned, sustainable environment. And environment is our #1 existential threat. Flooding and gully erosion. We're the gully erosion capital of Africa, if not the world. Now, on each of these pillars, we have simultaneously pursued them. Security, law, and order, we have, I don't need to say it, we've been through rounds, and the fact that now, the summary of it is that on this campaign 4 years ago, nobody could walk around in Anambra with party uniforms or, branded vehicles and so on. Nobody, even with the state government moving with us then, my predecessor, we could not step foot in Ihiala local government. Nobody could. Today, we had a massive rally in Ihiala, and that was, rather than a rally, it was like a celebration of the liberation of Ihiala local government. And so also 7 other local governments that were totally under siege when we came. Eliminated over 60 criminal camps of these criminals, who might describe as just criminals, who say they are agitating for something. It turns out they are kidnappers and just common criminals. When I eliminated and uprooted from there, those places. And people can now, in those local governments, can sleep with their eyes closed. We have a new legal framework, setting up even our own Agune chamber, working with the federal security agencies. These guys have done an admirable job, and I think I can go on, and I will come back to those in a moment. The second pillar, infrastructure and economic transformation. That's what we've accomplished in the last 3.5 years. We're told by the records. No government even in 8 years has done so in this state. With over 1,000 kilometers of roads, over 700 already asphalted, with stone bays. And if you add the almost 700 and something kilometers of those, with potholes, because sometimes we just count the new ones without counting the rehabilitation of existing ones that were not motorable. All over the place with iconic, you were at Ekulobia, I am told, to see the flyover, even the crossover, linking Oka and the 2 parts of Oka, and road networks all over, linking particularly the places in Anambra that have never seen 1 square inch of tarred road since Adam and Eve. And those places, in fact, in many of those places, they say they don't want anybody to come there to campaign. And so, because according to them, you have to apply on these roads. And some of them were just organizing rallies in Thanksgiving, as it were. Urban regeneration. I started work after swearing in. The next day I was at Okpoko, the biggest urban slum in the southeast, if not in the entire country. I mean, today,
is it totally cleaned up now?
I wish you would stop by there, because the people themselves no longer call it Okpoko. They call it New Heaven. So when you call it Okpoko, they say it's old.
You know what you have done. Let's get back to the promises you made. The Dubai-Taiwan principle. Now, was it that you are on the road to achieving it? Some people believe you overpromised. Where are you with that principle?
Again, that's why I laid out the 5 pillars, and I was just on number 2. You come. But I will come back to that. The promise of Dubai, Taiwan, Silicon Valley. Okay? It's not overpromise. We are mightily on course, and even in many cases, we've gone over. And I will give you an illustration when I come to the 3rd pillar now. On infrastructure, like I said, there are foundations to building a new society. And there are foundations in terms of infrastructure. First of all, law and order. It has to be the first order. Without it, nothing would happen. Second, you've got to grapple the place, secure it. Second, basic infrastructure. You can't be building Dubai, Taiwan if people can move from one part of the state to the other. That's given. So that we declared a state of emergency on infrastructure. And Anambra became one large construction site, still one large construction site. Urban regeneration agenda. Water schemes. You couldn't have Dubai, Taiwan when people can drink water. I mean, 5 major urban water schemes, 95 semi-urban water schemes now running, and so on. We have a new electricity law and our Electricity Regulatory Commission, and a new architecture in that regard is on the way. And then 17 new housing estates, massive construction going on everywhere. And then, of course, Silicon Valley, new Silicon Valley, which is an old government house, 13-point-something hectares of land, the first iconic building will be commissioned pretty very soon. We've trained over 90,000 youths on digital skills and so on. Our youth empowerment and development strategy, like no other. One Youth, 2 Skills program that has now trained and empowered about over 13,000 of our youths, and some of them have turned out, even after a year plus, to say there are thousands of them as the new millionaires. The one of them that spoke when the president came said he has 25 employees working for him, and so on and so forth in that regard. We have a new industrial city, 3 new cities in the making. The new Oka, the Greater Niger, which is what we call the extension, the next Onitsha, as it were, but it's not called Onitsha. Sensitive because the land doesn't belong to Onitsha. So the next one, and our mixed industrial city, all those now in the making. Now the 3rd one, and that may bring you, the 3rd one, human capital and social agenda. And this links to Dubai, Taiwan. You know, when people talk Dubai, Taiwan, this is a view that I had in 2006. I presented a paper at the Anambra Professionals, League of Anambra Professionals National Conference. And it's published in a booklet, Envisioning Anambra as the African Dubai, Taiwan, Silicon Valley, 2006. I was governor of Central Bank. And I thought, given what Anambra and all its potentials, that's its future. Okay? And you think about Dubai, Taiwan, the Dubai component is not the skyscrapers. People think Dubai are skyscrapers. Dubai happened to be an idea founded on the resource base of the place. And they decided intentionally to create Dubai first as a logistics hub, logistics commercial hub, which Anambra is primed to become super. We have the largest market in West Africa. You have a potentially navigable water, the River Niger, and so on. Anambra could become the super hub, commercial logistics hub. Now, the Taiwan component is actually a tiny place, island, no mineral resources, but has been able to identify the fact that its greatest resource is its human capital, and is invested in education, health, and minded to turn it to become an industrial powerhouse. Okay? That's the vision we have for Anambra. And I will tell you in this regard, just 2 illustrations, health and education, in over the last 3 years. We came, I'll take education, where we were. And we saw that the public education system was totally abandoned, neglected for decades. Okay? If you see the pictures and the videos, because we made videos and pictures of our public schools, primary, secondary, their state. I don't know. Let me not comment because I'm on national television here. But we made an intentional decision to rescue and revamp our public school system. Okay? And that investment, in fact, several prominent people told me it was not possible. You couldn't do that because the public sector cannot manage and all of that. I said, that's a product of public education, primary, secondary, university. And we must go back to reinvent it. They said it's not possible. Today, and we came with a social agenda because in that regard, to actually craft a policy on education. And our policy was intended what we call from the womb to productive adulthood. That's our social agenda in terms of human capital. From when the child is in the womb, we give the mother free antenatal, free delivery, including cesarean operations. Over 180,000 women have benefited from this. Over 500 cesarean operations free of charge. We take care of you with zero mortality. Now, when the child is born, from kindergarten through primary, through secondary, SS3, free education. And then when you finish, you get into the university. By the way, we're also investing heavily in our tertiary institutions as well as the primary, secondary, especially the public sector. Why still subsidizing mission schools? We have thousands of our teachers deployed to mission schools and so on and so on, which is a significant chunk of our educational sector. But with intentional desire to rebuild the public education system, as happens everywhere in the world. Now, when that child finishes secondary school, goes to a university, we'll give them bursary. When he graduates, either from secondary school or from the university, he doesn't have a job, we'll move you into our 1U2 skills program, where you get scalable skills, and then we give you seed capital to start off a productive life. And this model, this policy, in 3 years today, of course, with smart schools all over the place now, the last President's Award for schools in Nigeria, the Minister of Education spoke to me, congratulating me. And Anambra Public School was adjudged the best overall school in Nigeria today. That wasn't the case. Anambra came home with 9 presidential prizes, including a bus. 6 of the 9 went to public schools. In fact, last year, 2024, the best overall administrator of schools in Nigeria happened to be an administrator of an Anambra public school. And the minister told me a story as well, that they just finished admission into a school for talented kids in a school in Suleja, 200 for the entire country. Mm-hmm. And that Anambra people, 2 were given to every state, equality of states. That will give you plus FCT, that will be about maybe 74. The rest on merit, about 120-something now on merit for the entire country. Mm-hmm. Anambra took 29, so plus 2, 31 out of 200. Now, our public education system, and an Anambra school, public school again, had the best result in WAEC in terms of chemistry, physics, biology in the last WAEC. So we're intentional in mining and building that human capital in terms of education. and getting that. With our free education, enrollment in public secondary schools has gone up by 47%, primary school almost 30%, with the lowest out-of-school children rate in the country at 2.9% by UNESCO. But then you get to health. When we assumed office, a revolution is on there as well. You can't have health is wealth. You can't build the Taiwan in terms of human capital without being intentional about health. 326 primary health centers were done, equipped. We started with, of course, with education. There is no school, no education without teachers. We recruited 8,115 teachers. That's the first thing we did in the first 9 months. And posted them, recruited competitively from across 18 states in Nigeria. Because the interest of the Anambra child is to be taught by the best teacher in the world. Not by non-citizens? Yes.
Or non-indigenous?
Non-indigenous, yes, from 18 states. We don't care where you come from. We want our children to be taught by the best teacher in the world, not by the incompetent one from his village. And that's a focus. And no wonder the children from our public schools are now, becoming national.
Your Excellency.
But let me finish up on this, on the health bit. Because
I don't want you to, in one fell swoop, finish all the areas in one question, because all of these segments. My colleague from Adesua has a question now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Governor. Definitely all you have done in one term cannot fit into 2-hour media chat. And as a professor, we know you would like to expatiate. But I would like to speak on your campaign, if you can just deviate a bit before coming back to the 4th and 5th pillar that you have highlighted. You have campaigned, some people say, most vigorously. And despite being an incumbent, you've crisscrossed the states, the 21 local governments, you've interacted with communities. But there are those who say you're using the power of incumbency, you're buying crowds, you're renting crowds. And as an incumbent, why that strategy to campaign so vigorously? Is it because you feel threatened, or is this just to connect with the community and, of course, the response to those who say you've been buying the crowds?
Well,
specifically that you are vote buying. You're buying votes.
Desire to reward
party structures.
Those who come out to vote.
Not those who come out to vote. Let me clarify this. Let me be clear. In Anambra here, Anambra is Apuga land. It is an Apuga fortress. No matter how you slice and dice it. 2021, when it was dicey, I was running the first time. By 2 p.m., I had not voted. That was the first time we tried BVAS statewide. And by 2 p.m., I had not voted. I granted an interview. And I told them, I think your channel and some others interviewed me. You haven't voted. And I said I was confident that even if only 100 people voted in Anambra, I was still going to win landslide. And I did. This time,
it's a moonslide.
it's a moonslide. You said so. Now, we don't take any vote for granted. We don't take the people for granted. Let me tell you, I said this at the beginning. The people, something new is happening in Anambra. 2 of my friends said that what is happening in Anambra needs to be studied. Because it's new in the country, it's new in Anambra, certainly in Anambra, where communities themselves are organizing the rallies without me giving them a dime.
They say you staged it.
Well,
your party staged that.
Well, I don't. Well, wait now. Wait. Have you ever seen our rallies? Tomorrow. Wait. I will take you around before you leave. I'll take you into any of the markets. I'll do a street walk. Okay? And it's not. That's why I say people say it needs to be studied. You just take a walk if you see some of the reels. I mean, because I go to the markets to hear them. And this woman telling you, thank you for the free education. My children now go to school free. Thank you for the free delivery. My sister delivered the other day. You see our campaigns. I said, don't bring politicians coming to talk I want to hear from the actual people. So for us, we have these few strategies. Number one is that the Southeast has the lowest participation rate. Voter apathy. We have the smallest number of registered voters, and when it comes to participation, we also have the lowest percentage ever. And we are determined. You see voting thing after 100 and something thousand votes, 200 and something thousand votes. I would say we are determined to change this dynamic. This is democracy. If you don't participate, you don't get it. Now, what I said then, that if only 100 voted, we will still win. Now, it's even more so. I think you said it's no longer land. It's now moon slide. But we're still not taking anything for granted. We're going to every village. They are inviting us as we speak now. In fact, my chief of staff was there. We couldn't. Communities that are lining up to want to donate, we can't even, there's no time. They want to organize rallies. They want you to come and have rally for them, their place. We don't have the time. We have been going around. Okay, after a while I say, okay, every community now, local government. Oh, now we also want to contribute to the camp. I said, but I can't come. There are dozens of communities still lining up. In fact, for them, those who want to donate, what we've done is on 2 occasions now to organize 1 hour. I will just come and stand. You'll come, present your own whatever you are donating, and you pass. You see, people can't just understand it. Let me tell you a fundamental thing. Thesis was started with when I came into government. I've come from the other part. I've been part of a political process. I started my own political journey in 1980 when we joined to support Chukwuma. We formed the Chukwuma movement. I was part of the transition, part of the campaign. Even in 83 presidential campaign, I was the student coordinator in the current Southeast. I've seen political democracy grow over this, and I was determined to do something. Coming into office, I said I wanted to test a hypothesis. Whether politics of development translates to political capital.
Other than stomach infrastructure.
Other than, and I will tell you about stomach infrastructure. What we've given to the people, part of it, giving them governance that they have not seen before. Infrastructure, their school system, their health care delivery. Well, if I finish up on that, when I came, the percentage of patients that patronize public hospitals, public health system, was 20 to 22%. Varied. Now it's 74% in 3 years. Nothing short of a revolution. Okay? The people are deriving value. And there in return, I go to the markets. This is what they tell us. And so when the people flood out, we want to be part of it. I go and you see Keke people. You see a woman. The day I commissioned some roads in Onitsha, one bus driver was struggling to reach me, and the security wouldn't let him. I said, no, let him come. He came, he put his hand in his pocket and brought out everything in his pocket. Said he had vowed that any day he saw me, he was going to give, and I opened my arm. Some 20 naira, some 50 naira, some 100 naira notes. He said that ever since we finished, he named some roads that we did, that he used to go to mechanic every week, that he hasn't been to mechanic in months, that he was going to. This is the testimonial we're getting all over the country. And now stomach infrastructure, I tell you, does development, giving people value, translate to political capital? I think the first test of it that I've seen, and I don't even know how this thing, I was asking my people, how did this donation start? Who were the first people to donate it? And they were trying to, 2 days ago, we were debating who were the first people to do that publicly, whether it was that guy or the people in the market or the market woman who contributed something to give us. But stomach infrastructure, Shehu, we were very intentional in what we call productive stomach infrastructure. Okay? It's not the bit of going to appoint 2,000 political appointees who have nothing to do and paying them salary. I felt it was better if I used that resource, employ 8,115 teachers. Okay? They have value to add in the system. They go home happy. to distribute 2.6 million seedlings, improved seedlings of palm and coconut, to over 140,000 households. And the economics is that any household that has 10 to 15 of such, once they start fruiting, will be permanently out of poverty. To distribute that, we're targeting sustainable, productive stomach infrastructure. Where you have...
Question, and that's what resonating out there. The 1 million, what you promise for the legislative by-election.
I'm coming now. I'm coming.
Is it coming from where the money? From donation? Is it from state coffers? That's what the people are asking.
But do you even realize that that is vote buying by law?
No. Wait now. That's the way I like that. That's the way. Would you realize? Let's clarify that matter. I talked to you about. I was coming to it anyway, but now that you've drawn my attention, I think you want us to go on the back. I come back to it. What we said to our people, I talked about this voter apathy. What we're contesting, not against, like I said, there are opponents, but there's no opposition. We're contesting against ourselves. We don't need to buy it. These are communities that are contributing money to give to us. We're going to give them money. That's ridiculous to talk about vote buying. Let me tell you, what we're trying to give our people is an incentive, okay? Our party structures, not the public, that if you vote, you'll get it. No. It is the party structures that will say, listen, ideally, in order to pay them to go knocking on doors, have canvassers, your party men, your party structure. You incentivize them in everywhere in the world that happens, okay? You have staffs who go on campaigning with their own cars, they're fueling, they're whatever. And we're saying, listen, it's not enough to say we are winning. It's not enough. We will win, okay? If the votes count. If the votes are counted, whether you hold it in the midnight or anytime, we'll win landslide. That's not the issue. But can we actually begin to motivate this guy? Don't just go and say, there are 500 registered voters, we won. We had 100, the others have 2 and 1, so we won. Okay, out of that, that's 100 is still just 20%. Why is Southeast stuck at 20%, 18%, 15%, and so on? So we are motivating party structures to say, go walk the extra mile. Ideally, we should pay you beforehand, but we're not going to pay you. But if you now work extra hard and mobilize voters and go to the polls, we might be able, almost by way of reimbursing your expenses, which is allowed by the law, by the way. Now,
so it's not to the voters?
No, it's not to the voters.
So, Tutu, I know you want to come in here. Apologies. But Mr. Governor, realistically, what do you think those party structures and organs you talk about would be using to mobilize the people to come to the vote? Because I've monitored your campaigns, even though more often than not you speak in local dialect. Just on Friday, you were in a place called Injikoka. I hope I got it right. And you said, if voted back, that you must, in Abagana, that's in an Abagana area, right? You said you would win, but it's not enough to just say that. You have to go all the way out. And you told them, mobilize voters and you will be rewarded hugely. Those were your words. You said huge reward awaits those who are able to bring the voters out. But my question here is, in our climb, in our elections, how do those party organs and structures you are inspiring to go out, how do they mobilize the people, and how are they mobilizing the people without money?
That's where you get it wrong. Again, we are testing this hypothesis. And that's the reason we are not giving them money beforehand. Okay? Remember, if you are making efforts and you may win or may not win, you're not going to stake your own money. Okay? People are now going, they are knocking house to house. Because remember my message, my message is clear to them. I say, listen, don't sit at home and say, oh, he has won. or he has no opponent. There's nobody contesting with him. I call it complacency of the majority. So I said to them, I have not won until you have voted. So leave your house, go and vote. If you capture the entire thing, I say, as you are leaving, make sure your mother is living. The youths, on that day now, you start playing football. And when they ask you, say, is there movement? Because there is always restriction of movement on election day. They will be sitting at home asking, is the movement now? Okay, can I now leave? Or they start playing football. And you ask them, he said, no, he has won. I said to them, no, don't sit at home and say he has won. And it's part of the hypothesis we're testing as well. Is whether indeed, that's the reason you don't go giving them money to say, okay, take money ahead of it. Go knock on the doors as party structures. If you are able to convince significant people, I told you I have an experience during our NPN days. We went house to house with lantern to get voters. Even on the day of election, we were going, oh, this mama is still, mama come, is there still line there? I said, yes, come, we'll go. In the Obama's election, I saw some of the workers, some of the staffers. One black woman was interviewed on CNN, and she was going from house to house. Please, mama, can we go? Yeah, they will carry this one, run to the polling booth to vote. They will return the person, go back again. It's saying, this way again, we are trying to test if our party structures can actually break this threshold, the magical threshold of 20%. 20% participation. We haven't gone beyond that. Even under the last presidential election, even with all the frenzy, presidential, wanted the president and so on. Brother here, Peter Obi, still had 500 and something thousand out of 2.7 million voters on the register. So when you look at that in every election, voter apathy, getting people out is the issue. And I disagree with you that the only way people go out to vote is if they are given money. No, I've won an election.
Well, I didn't say it's the only way.
Oh, no, okay, so it's not the only way. No, yeah. I'm just saying.
We have seen vote buying a lot.
No.
Inducement.
You see, in the North, participation rate is 30-something, 40-something %. Election comes, and you see people trailer loads. They are leaving from here, going back to the North to vote. That's consciousness. You go to the Southwest, you're getting 30-something, 40% participation rate. You come down to the Southeast. Are you saying that all those places where people are voting, everybody is giving money? No. You've got to create a consciousness of participation. Go knock on doors, explain to people. And the feedback we are getting now from the people who are knocking on these doors is that people are beginning to respond and say, okay, don't worry, I will go and vote.
All right, it's a good time for us to take another break. But we'll take a break. Babajide will be the next to shoot at, not literally, his questions, actually. When we return from this break, everyone, stay with us.
Who wants the best for the state? You can see that the governor has already surpassed his mandate. I'm based in Port Harcourt. While I was coming back, I saw the magnitude of the infrastructural revolution. That's why we call him Oluwatuegu. You understand? So he's doing quite a lot in almost all facets of our state, in education, in capacity building, and so on. So we are praying for him. We are here basically to support what is going on in our dear state. Our governor is laying a very, very solid foundation. It will be reversible from what he has done already. What we owe him is to mobilize our people in terms of sensitization, political mobilization, sensitization. We can already see what he's doing. So all we need to do is to educate our people to know exactly where they are going to cast their vote. And it's not going to be a very difficult task, because they can see what the governor has done already. So I'm also happy that he came to grace this occasion. It shows that he's a listening governor. He has honored Anambra local government, and we appreciate that. I can assure him that Anambra will vote for him.
Anambra has benefited a lot from Professor Soludo. All the way from Agolo to Egulobe, you must pass through Anyota. If you're going to Newi, you still pass through Anyota. So, and from Egulobe to Nobi, you will pass through Anyota. So, and this is dual carriage. But even as of yesterday, I was with somebody in the friend from Anyota to Oka. The person lives in Port Harcourt, so he was saying something that the videos they were seeing online that there is no road in Anambra. So the man was just shouting, if Soludo can do this in his first tenure, that he's from Anambra, that he will come back and vote for him. So we, Anyota people, we are ready to vote for him. After all, our brother is not contesting for government. And nobody is contesting for Anyota, so Anyota is for APGA, and APGA is for Anyota, so that is it.
Governor Soludo's message resonates deeply with the people. His commitment to uplifting the disadvantaged through bold policies is evident.
Yes. I've gone round and saying your farm produce. Last year, early last year, we launched the Operation Farm to Feed in response to those who were crying for hunger and said they were having a hunger protest. Here in this part of the world, we don't go on hunger protest, we farm. We use our hands, enterprise, hard work, integrity. These are the principles, these are the virtues, these are the values we are known for. And our people responded not by crying or protesting, but by going back to the farm. Thank you very much. I deeply, deeply appreciate you. I applaud you. November 8th, or Saloko. Africa everywhere. Africa everywhere. Yes, this is a mass movement. We are not putting in a couple into this. It is the people, they put in their money, they put in their sweat, they are organizing this, they are going to defend the votes, and Anambra will see a vote like no other time before.
The endorsement culminated in a ceremonial conferral of the title Ekweme Anocha upon Governor Soludo, symbolizing the trust and confidence placed in his leadership and affirmation.
Anambra State, and it's the turn of Babajide Otitoju of TVC.
Your Excellency, I have monitored the campaigns. I found it very interesting. Sometimes dispositions of politicians show, but we cannot expect that at a time like this. I want to first ask you about the security situation. We are not happy about reports of non-state actors kidnapping and killing people in the southeast, especially in Imo and some parts of your state. What progress can you report? That's the first strand of my question. The other part is you've been praised for the work you have done in the area of infrastructure, but your critics are now telling us that some of your most recent road works, that the quality is very poor. One of the candidates, I think the AAC candidate, even pointed to a road beside Senator Ekonefe's center, that the road there is already giving way. Is there even some of the rehabilitated roads that you constructed, that before their eyes, those roads are giving way? And finally, they accuse you of overtaxing businesses, as if you want to kill the small and medium scale enterprises. How do you respond to this?
So 3 questions.
Yes.
Security, infrastructure, and taxation. On security, I think I have answered that very eloquently. The fact that in all the, and INEC gave the report. They did the continuous voter registration recently. The fact that they could go through the 326 wards. You may not understand the import of this. When I was campaigning, none of us could move around most places, including my own local government. The day we were to campaign there, the shooting that took place at the roundabout, the square, where you went to there, they shot down 2 DSS persons. Police will have to be hiding their uniforms and so on. It was even on my swearing in day to be able to move from my house in the village to here. They even attacked me brazenly about 4:30 p.m. in my village as I was addressing youths. They came for me, shot down, killed 3 policemen. And so on. It was bad. When I assumed office, it was like war. Every day, kidnappings, it's not kidnapping, kidnappings, here, there, shooting, they kill men, cut off people. Today, all over Anambra, you could ask around. Now people are dancing and campaigning in all the 326 wards in Anambra. That speaks volume. And this is where I told you we just went to Ihiala 2 weeks ago. The first time that it never happened. People in party uniforms and so on plunged the venue to celebrate. We have gallant the security forces and our own Agone chamber at work. I can tell you that those people have been grossly decapitated, and to a level that, for them to group in a manner that anything near where they were, 10% or where they were, when we arrived here, it's not possible. So, and we aren't done yet. We're just beginning. I mean, laying foundations and new investments on hardware, investments on technology, surveillance systems, and so on and so forth. And we'll continue to push. A new law is in place. And it's not just the kinetic approach. We're also having huge social reformation. That's why you find out the dreadful and dreaded native doctors are on the run, and we're trying to reorient our people that the only values that are acceptable here happen to be that of enterprise, hard work, and integrity. It's not to make money through magical means, and so on. So there is a social reorientation going on. On the road thing, several of these things, I see them and the social people go, photo, go and take anywhere. Some of them they get and you send, because when I say that, I forward it to my people and they go and send, I say, that's not true, that's not here. It's probably something they got somewhere else. Listen, the quality of roads that were constructed in Anambra now, even some contractors that were there before, with stone base, soft cement stabilization before asphalt, we've never seen that before. We stand to be contradicted in terms of quality. Because for me, there's no point doing so thing that will be washed off. And some as well, I must admit, sometimes we push the contractors too hard that they go and lay asphalt, and then there is a heavy downpour the next day. Of course, asphalt and rain cannot coexist, but they go back immediately to rectify and wait, as it were. On taxation, that's very funny. When you talk about the rates, we're actually about comparatively, whether it is the commercial on shops or, of course, the income tax thing is global, which taxes are we charging. Comparatively, compared to our neighbors and nationwide, we're one of the lowest, if not the lowest, actually, in terms of the rate. And interestingly, part of what the testimonies that we are getting, we're just talking about the woman from Enugu, his hometown. Part of the testimonial she gave when we had a rally at Njikoka 2 days ago. What to talk about, and this is not just, that's not random, all over the state. God, there are still pockets here and there. All over the state are telling us, the keke people are telling us, the market women are telling us, because I banned charging all these artisanals, keke drivers, Okada riders, vulcanizers, truck pushers, barrow pushers, and all these traders, petty traders with less than 100, 200,000, they're having that you go and take 200 naira. It's the ban in Anambra. And that's part of what these women are telling us. Thank you for banning all those. The touts that used to harass them. You buy goods, you go from point A, this tout. We have a special squad, the anti-touting squad, a very dreaded team. And so on. And part of the feedback we're getting from Onitsha, thank you for kicking off these people. In fact, in one of the markets, somebody said, I think it was Channels, I can't remember what we were commissioning. One guy was shouting that they're now coming from Ogun State, that, people used to come from all parts of the country to shop in Onitsha. But because of the menace of some of these thugs and touts, scared away, they were now telling me that people have started coming back now from all over the country to shop in Onitsha. Tax is something that we're very key on, and we've done well relatively, but not as well as we would like to do. The potentials are huge. We're operating at far below 50% of our potentials. I must be honest with you. And so we're now modernizing the system, deployment of technology, harmonizing to have a one-stop shop, and avoidance of multiple taxes, as it were, and consolidating them. And several of them have been consolidated. We now have a new tax legislation in place.
Yeah. Since,
Hold on. I'd like to that. Can you just tell us briefly how well you are doing in the area of internally generated revenue? Can your state stand alone if the distributable revenue from the center were to dry up?
If it were to dry up, you saw the budget in terms of the financial standings of states, comparing both transparency, sustainability, and so on. And Anambra ranked number 1.
Yes. Just to answer the
Sorry.
question before we move forward. Did you just say Indian Anambra should brace up for more taxes because we are not at par with your neighbors?
No. You see, where we are failing is that a vast majority. It's not the rate, it's the coverage. Okay? It's the coverage. It's just that, it's difficult coming from an oil era. People are used to free things. So give us water, give us this, and we've provided water. We'll give you electricity, we'll give you this, we'll give you road, and provided I don't pay anything, so to speak. So all we're saying is that you're going to bring more people into the tax bracket. And by the way, the national tax law will kick in from January. So much of these conversations will become some national minimum standards and so on will be in place, and I'm all for it.
I want us to move very fast. Since Babajide shot 3 bullets at you at the same time, I might as well shoot 2, but I'll take you one after the other. The first being that on the issue of security, which is very key, there are those who still believe that the Monday sit at home still happens in Anambra State. And there are still pockets of violence here and there. Kidnappings happened a few days ago in a certain local government area, and we're at the airport. One of those persons were asking us what exactly is going on. The high-handedness of the Agune Chamber, some of the officials of Agune Chamber have been accused. In fact, an incident with one of the core member NYC. The fear about the manner in which you are handling security, there are those who are still not satisfied. Is it a failure of some sort, or what exactly should Anambra people be up against?
Let me be clear. Security will continue to be a work in progress everywhere in the world. Security is a work in progress. Nobody will ever say, nowhere in the world you have perfect security. That's always insecurity. You get to the US, occasionally you have some crazy fellow go into a school and shoot everybody, or go into shopping malls and shoot everyone. you will have those. There was an incident, I mean, this kidnapping thing. That's one in the last 4 months in the state. We have the data. So occasionally, and we're trying to trace, I don't want to say where intel is in terms of where they came from and where we think they are, but there's a national television, we're following up on that. We have zero tolerance for all of this. Now, on Agune Chamber, this is a new form. I mean, that incident with the copper, we definitely condemned it. Security agencies, sometimes there's this exuberance, so they have some overreach and excesses, as it were. Wherever we have experienced that, we have dealt with that decisively. And it will remain a work in progress. The code of conduct given to them, supervision, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that is, well, because I imagine, what if this was to be my daughter? I have 4 wonderful daughters. Can imagine my daughter being in that shoe, condemnable. But, you know, part of what happens in this place, I take it to be like almost like a case of the United States. Whenever you have this, any of these extreme police brutality, everybody in the world, and people are in the streets protesting, the Black Lives Matter thing, you will almost get the impression that if you go to the US, you know, bullets are flying all over your head, especially in this era of social media. You have 4 months incident-free, 4 months, nobody reports that. It's when there is this one thing, they say, okay. But remember where we're coming from. Now, Monday sit at home. Anybody sitting at home in Anambra is doing so at his own, you know, voluntarily. He just decides to sit at home. Because, don't forget, you know, we have a proverb here that when a particular aberration lasts for like a year, it becomes culture. People sat at home out of fear, continued, and they adjusted their lifestyle and their schedule. Okay? They adjusted to it. So some began even to fix meetings and the day for sports and so on to be Monday rather than Saturday or Sunday. So, and you're telling them the market is open. Everywhere is secured. I say, but we now use it to do sports. I say, sure. Come here in Oka. You know, the other Monday, there was this Nnamdi Kanu's thing that was supposed to be, you know, shut down everywhere. That's the day we had one of our biggest rallies.
So just remember my second. Hold on.
You're fired.
No, I didn't fire. So my second. Just a moment. Yeah. So the second question. The other one was security. The other one is actually the campaign that's getting messy.
Okay.
And this is with you and your former ABGA colleague, Senator Uche Ekunife. And whether or not your own professorial title has now been called to question. You, first of all, you shot the first bullet at fake certificates. Now, where did you get your own, where did you acquire or earn your professorial chair? Who gave it to you? She said it's probably a departmental award that you got. That we should rather call you Dr. Soludo, not Professor Soludo. Have you earned it? Did you earn it? When? How?
Isn't it very funny indeed? Actually, very funny. But let me get back to, it won't distract me from the substance, because we'll get back to the substance. The substance, and I come back to this, what is meant to be a funny one about becoming a professor. I have grandchildren who are professors now. The people I taught, and one of whom is a vice chancellor, some of my students. Let me answer your question, and I come down to what is the substance of it. I've not only been professor here, I've been professor also in America. Okay? At Swarthmore College, one of the elite, the best universities in the US. And I met the qualifications to be a professor at 34. I was ultimately then promoted at 38 at the University of Nigeria. And I've taught generations of students, some of them now professors, who have also taught professors. I've been professors when I was 38, and about 27 years now, 28 years as a professor. And I have been all over the world as such. I crisscrossed the world as an itinerant scholar and consultant, been to Cambridge, been to Oxford, been to Warwick, professor at Swarthmore in the US, consulted for about 21 international organizations, any global financial or development institution that is of stature, I've consulted for them. Okay? Before I was headhunted to come to the federal government to become chief economic advisor, later head of national planning, and governor of Central Bank. My credentials are there. You can go and Google it, set it up. So for the records, we said this. But let me come down to what the issue is. You see, no matter how you try to want to change the subject, okay? See, I have read out mine, and I can get you my letter of promotion as professor at the University of Nigeria, the one and the only University of Nigeria, not anywhere else. That's why I also, let me also say, it's the same university where I made a first-class honors and won departmental faculty prizes. It's the same university where I had my master's, had the best master's thesis. It's the same university I got my PhD and won Vice Chancellor's Award for the PhD. And got promoted, almost 2 promotions ever on record. So we're not talking about, and I also went through secondary school when we used to grade people, and I made distinction grade, the best that could be made. So you don't change the subject. What we just said was, okay, if you're applying for a job, you have to submit your qualifications and experience. That's the first one. And to apply to want to be elected as governor of a state, you fill out INEC JAM form, INEC forms. That is a section to fill out your qualifications, academic. Section for primary, secondary, tertiary. And you are given a long list to fill with the dates. Now, somebody who is applying for a job, you go, the first candidate there, his principal, her principal, goes on and fills first school living certificate, second one, GCE, and attaches result. And the result is English F9, Maths F9, Economics F9, this one P8, this one. Now I will ask you a question, and I'll come down before I put a question to you, Shehu. The other one is the deputy, fills her own. Primary, first school living certificate, secondary, GCE, attaches certificate. And in that certificate, there's only 4 subjects, not 4 credits, 4 subjects only, which makes her ineligible even for university admission. Okay? You have to have 5 credits to get in any university that makes sense. Tertiary, you put PhD. Date, 00. No date. And you attach certificates. And lo and behold, we look at the certificate you attach. There is no date. Right. The certificate has no date. Which university will award somebody straight PhD with 4 GCE subjects?
You're referencing Senator Ekunife?
Yes. So we checked that out. And lo and behold, they said the university there is described by Wikipedia as a certificate mill. It does not have any accreditation in the US and not recognized in Nigeria by NUC as a university. And so, we say, you see, if you were to advertise, you want to employ the head of management, the head of administration in channels, and 16 candidates apply, and they are supposed to pair up the first one and the second. And the first candidate submits stuff, F9, 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 O level. That's the highest and the only qualification. The second one has 4 O-level subjects with a PhD, that is. Will you invite those people for interview?
Well, they have become successful persons in politics, in business, elsewhere.
Well, that's what I'm coming down to. I'm saying we are talking about qualifications to hold office. Okay? You see, the challenge with this country, because you haven't answered my question, you just avoided the question. I'm sure in AIT, you are not going to hire, even invite such persons for interview to head your administration. The problem, yes, the challenge, he ran away from it. Yeah, he ran away, he avoided. Because, you see, part of the challenge of this country is that we've come down so low in our public discourse that the persons you cannot hire to manage your private company is the person you promote to run the affairs of millions of people. Now, this person who has F9, and that is why it's consequential. He was on TVC interview the other day. When I said, you have not proven to even have the capacity of basic literacy and numeracy. How are you going to? You're going to read documents. You're going to analyze them. You are going to juggle with numbers as chief executive of the state.
In other words, you're saying we have set the bar so low for our public office holders.
Yes, so why part of what we have decided in this election? It's not just for Anambra. But for Anambra, forget the fact that I am running for office as governor. I feel scandalized as a thoroughbred son of Anambra, the state of the Azikiwes, Chinua Achebes, of Emeka Anyokos, of the DKs or Jukus.
Soludos.
Thank you very much. Alex Ekwemens and so on and so forth.
The Peter Obis.
The Peter Obis and Ngiges. Look at the people who are born governors. In terms of qualification, Peter Obi, with his BSc philosophy, is actually, if you like, the base. All of us have had something far more fundamental. Now we are going down to that. I feel scandalized. He was on your TV.
Okay.
And then they asked him a question just to prove this point, that it matters. They were asking him about baby factories and illegal adoptions. And he went on to start talking about his family factories.
I believe that shows.
Now, you see, the point is this. We, as Anambra, and that's why we're making it an issue, is that for Anambra and for the nation, there must be irreducible minimum. And if you have...
What should be that irreducible?
Wait, I'm coming. If you submit, you must have proven, at the base in this case. If I look at all the people who are running for governorship in Anambra, that ticket, or those who have run for governorship in the history of Anambra, that ticket is the worst ever in history.
The Constitution says school living certificate or equivalent.
That's what I'm coming. Anambra is not a minimalist state. Okay? Cannot operate with the minimalist. And especially where basic qualifications, okay, take even the one of fake certificate. The federal government now has a policy to begin to verify everybody working in public service, their certificates. If you go ahead and submit fake certificate as your qualification to hold office, what else are we going to trust you with?
Okay, let's look at the other candidates. Because you've been critical of the APC candidate.
No.
Is that where you take the traits
No. The reason I picked them up is that's why, I don't talk about their persons. I won't go down that level. But the qualifications to hold office is the very first thing. Just like I asked the question, if you are hiring your manager of your company, and they submit F9, would you bring the person for interview? Or somebody submits PhD with GCE, submits a GC, a PhD certificate, that there is no even date on the certificate. No date.
How much does the ABGA, the Labour Party candidate? Because I've not heard you talk about him.
Let me tell you.
Because I've seen P2B campaign with him, and the P2B factor, some may say, is still strong in Anambra State.
Whom you've been very critical of.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't talk about. Let me tell you, if the APC candidate did not submit those kind of scandalous certificates, I wouldn't talk about any one of them. Because it's not worth talking about. Nobody has presented a manifesto. Nobody. I don't see, like I said it, we have opponents, but we have no opposition. And that's why I don't waste my time talking about non-issue. So, next week, Saturday, we'll go to the polls and we'll see who is where. The people will decide. So I wouldn't start talking about labor. You haven't even talked. There are 15 others. The only reason I picked on this one is, and I haven't talked, I haven't even mentioned APC or any political party by name. I just picked, when I saw this, and I said, no, something is wrong. For public discourse, this is consequential. This is the first and most important issue in an election. And after this election, I'm governor, I'm out of governor, we must take the issue of basic qualifications and experience seriously.
Sorry, we're due for another break. Just another break. We're due for another break. Although those people you mentioned as the worst pair said they would discipline you at the poll. But we'll be right back after this break with this worst question.
The rallying call wasn't limited to Anocha and Oka South. Communities in Onitsha South local government area joined the chorus, voicing their endorsement of Governor Soludo's second-term campaign. With each step forward, it's clear that Anambra is on the rise. At these rallies, communities voiced gratitude and showcased solidarity by presenting checks as a testament of their unwavering support.
Honor to you, the working governor, we are proud of you, and we are proud of you. We are standing behind you. LPGA! God bless you.
My governor, I'm one of the beneficiaries of this recruitment 2024. I put it in here, this is a very free and fair recruitment. No, this is not that you write. TVC, honor, everything, very, very transparent, very, very transparent. My governor, I'm very, very thankful. I will not also stop. Thank you for taking away the children of Anambra from the streets. Thank you very much. The children are very happy. The learners, not just taking them away, but the environment is very, very conducive for all of them. My governor, thank you very much.
Soludo empowered 8,300 youths across the Anambra State. And it happens to be one of the beneficiaries. And it's not just only just empowerment, maybe a day program, or 2-day program. This program is a 4-month program. We have 6-month program and 4-month program, which is after such program. You will also have entrepreneurship from business school in Anambra University. After in the business school, we now empowered and also enroll us in a cooperative. Apart from the grants they are giving us, they also giving us mentorship in order to make a successful one in this particular initiative. And I'm telling you, to be honestly, I haven't witnessed such empowerment in the history of Nigeria and the history of Anambra State and the Africa at large. That is why I'm using my two hands and endorsing Governor Chukwuma Charles Soludo. Based on the number of the registered voters we have, we are sure we are going to vote him in.
This man, Soludo, is a wonderful man. Since Anambra State, I've never seen a governor like him before. He's a special person. He's 1 in a billion. Everywhere, even in the market, we were speaking about Soludo. Even on the road, even in the bus, we were speaking about the Soludo. Anywhere you are, Soludo is special.
Soludo came in now and placed a good road in Onitsha South. And the Keke people are very happy. Keke people now, they are organized to vote on the 8th of November for Soludo because they said that the man is a very good man. Keke people, before, we were paying a lot of money, at least a week, a day, 1,700 and something naira. You check it a week. But this one is 2,000 a week. So they're very, very happy. They said they were going to vote for the man again.
Commission, Port Harcourt Road, Niger Street. I think one bus driver gave us a gift. He gave us all the money that he had gotten for the day, thanking us because according to him, he used to go to the mechanic workshop every week. But since the roads were done, they will count 3 months and 4 months and not go to the mechanic. That's money in the pockets of the people. When the free education in all government schools, primary, secondary, all to help the poor. We employed 8,115 teachers, the best teachers that we could find in Nigeria, and posted them to our schools. Is to give the poor a fresh and strong start. The children of the poor will grow out in the future and become the champions of tomorrow. That's what we are doing. That's the foundation we are laying. All the textbooks used in our schools going forward shall be textbooks, or opposite textbooks, that you write into the textbook. Ogabo textbook, Ogabo, onye gosi nwanne ya use ya.
Through collective strength, help, and determination, the people of Anambra State stand united behind Governor Chukwuma Charles Soludo. His vision for a prosperous future is not just his, it is a shared vision of the people. This unwavering spirit signifies that Anambra is undeniably on the rise.
AIT, Adesu Omoran of Arise Television, Babajide Kolade Otutoju of TVC, and myself, Shunwa Kimale of Channels Television. We've been having a conversation about the performance of Chukwuma Charles Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, his performance in the last 40 months plus and ahead of the election of Saturday. Adesua.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Governor. Just to piggyback on what we said before the break, you have vowed that after fake native doctors, you're declaring a war on fake certificates after November 8. Very quickly, because I have 3 questions for you, as the gentlemen have had.
Yes.
Very quickly, why wait till after November 8? And what instruments are you going to be investigating, prosecuting that war on fake certificates? Secondly, you have often said that you remain laser focused and that your job, your agenda has a deadline. But what's been your biggest challenge so far? What keeps Solution Governor Soludo awake at night as you seek another term in office? And finally, in Njikoka on Friday, you did say that you are shifting to Gear 4 should you be voted back into office. What exactly does Gear 4 look like?
Thank you very much. I think the very first one is about the fake certificates and so on.
Yes, and a native document.
It's a national crisis. For me, those who seek public office, the very first test of integrity and so on is that you be honest about it. Whatever you have, present it. Okay? If you have primary school certificate, if you don't go and fake it. Don't go and bring any extra, right? PhD, where you have something not to show. You see, it's fundamental because just like the fake native doctors who tell our children, our youths, confuse them that you can get wealthy by magical means. Okay? You don't have to work hard. You only need to do some magic and then money will start flowing from us. As former governor of Central Bank, I know how money is even printed. And I said, come, if you can make somebody get money by magic, I want to line up to it because I need it. You deceive people, you collect money, you scam people, and then deceive these youths. When they can't make it this way, they go into Yahoo. If they can't make it that way, they go into drug. If they can't get it, they go into kidnapping because they must make money through some easy means. In other words, any structure that discourages hard work, that says you don't have to work hard, actually is at the heart of what ails Nigeria. Now, how does it connect? Connecting the dot to fake certificate peddlers. What you are telling the young ones, even your own children have never seen you sit down. You have never written one newspaper article in life. And you are saying, parading, you say, all of a sudden, magically, PhD.
So how do you want to fight it?
How we want to fight it. Yes. I'm just trying to make the connection between the two now in terms of how we fight it. The federal government has come out with this policy on this verification exercise. We're going to domesticate it here. Okay? And as we domesticate it, that will start with those who are holding public office here and so on. And we just wish we'll carry out also a campaign, even at the national level. When you submit maybe part of the electoral act amendments, should be that before even your destiny, that you should submit your certificates for verification to that same process that you verify those who have to be in the public service and so on and so forth. You submit them for verification. So we can't have this kind of thing, it's where you can put PhD there. And under oath, you swear an oath and submit, and it doesn't matter. No, we must get back to basics. So, two things. It's domestication of that process. We'll take it through here. Number two is through public advocacy. We'll have to name and shame. And that's precisely why we are raising this issue in this campaign. We're making it, like I said to you, for the others, we haven't bothered about anybody. I haven't even, for those candidates who are, under APC, I say I've never mentioned APC. APC, it's All Progressives Congress. I am candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, and progressives are working together. But in Anambra here, genuine progressives are working hard to re-elect the leader of progressives in Anambra. Whether it's in APC, whether they are in Labour, whether they are in YPP, whether they are in whatever, whether they are in APOGA, everybody is working towards our re-election. But that's...
because it came visiting not too long ago.
And there are different interpretations to the progressives working together.
Well, the point is, for now, take it that the progressives are working together.
President Tinubu, progressive?
Yeah,
all progressives.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But let me tell you this, which is you've raised a deeper point, not for this interview, maybe at another subject. It's not just once you enter a party, because the name of the party is progressive, you've become progressive. I can bet you 70-80% of people who are in parties, including mine, for example, we are the oldest party with progressives in it. We are the oldest, 2002. All progressives, grand alliance of progressives. I'm sure a vast majority, vast number, I don't want to know whether it's majority or not in the party, may not even understand that progressivism is an ideology, or whether it's in APC, whether it is, but the genuine progressives are all working together.
The question here, because Babaji needs to ask a question now. The real issue is whether you were promised by President Tinubu of re-election. There are history of you being a friend, and that those who are saying there are secret talks about with you and President Tinubu that you are going to be supported by the APC to win this election. And the candidate of APC has said, why are you using the name of the president and the APC to campaign if you are really, really sure of yourself?
The point is that I think, first, 2 quick points. I know you will always want to bring out this. Let's be clear. And I've said this, I said it on your program, and I say it everywhere without apologies. President Tinubu is my friend. We've been friends since 2003. And I have said it where he even visited here, even before he came on campaign. I said same. I'm not going to deny my friend. We are friends, and we'll remain friends. Okay? And even when he came on our, when he commissioned all this, I did say so, that APGA, my party, okay, in 2011, had a policy to adopt the then sitting president. In fact, the policy was to work with and support the party and the government at the center. That's how APGA adopted a sitting president then as his own presidential candidate in 2011. That's not under me. That was before even I joined APGA. And that policy has not changed. And I make no mistake, I have no apologies about that. That's where we are. Okay?
And in 2027, would you do the same?
In 2020, I have told you,
you will adopt
the policy,
APC.
Wait, the policy has not changed.
So,
full stop.
So, I mean, in politics, you need to be categorical.
No, in his heart, he's categorical.
I have told you, the policy has not changed.
So, in turn, you got a promise.
Now, when you see, you go, wait now. He's trying to he tried dating his own thing, but he will go to know that. I am not going to discuss with you if I have a conversation with my friend and so on and so forth about promises. You know, this country is so. Wait, there is this country. Everybody is all doing this, calculate, these bits and so on. Friends can meet and have a drink and talk about nation and so on and so forth. The only one that is going on is now I'm contesting for governorship of Anambra. Coincidentally, in all the campaigns that we have had, I've never, in fact, it was only on Saturday that I made this statement. I made this statement about progressives working. That was the final of our local government rallies. Conclusion. That I did say, you notice that I haven't been mentioning any political party by name as a crowd, all through the campaign. I've never mentioned any political party. I've never mentioned president or thrown in as name dropping or this and that. No, we're not doing that. We are campaigning to the people. We are going knocking on every door, on every market, on the streets, and so on, to earn every vote, even though there are opponents and no opposition, but we're still fighting as if we're the underdog.
Mr. Governor, almost out of time.
Sorry, Babajide needs to come in.
Some of my questions have not been answered.
Okay.
What does Gear 4 look like? Because you promised them on Friday in Njikoka, should you return. What does Gear 4 look like if the Anambra people, Indian Anambra as we call them, give you their votes? And what keeps you up at night? What's your biggest challenge?
The biggest,
very quickly.
Since we're running out of time, the biggest thing is what keeps me at night. As I said, the agenda with a deadline is every day what's new, what's different. Execution, execution, execution. What keeps me up at night, knocking on the doors of my aides and commissioners and what is not yet done. As they always say, we have it as a mantra that what I see is what is not done, not what is done. You tell me we have done this, but I'm saying, but we still have 30 more to go. We'll finish the 30, we're at the 29th one, but there is another 50 to go. See, that's what keeps me, because we have very short time frame and thousands of things to be done. We are running at the speed of 2,000 kilometers an hour in order to even make a dent. And when you talk about your the next gear,
your gear, you said
gear 4.
Yes.
Gear 4 will be, number one, deepening reforms along those 5 pillars. We are turning on each one of them, whether it's security, law, and order. We are moving on. If you look at my manifesto, you'll see that it's a heavy agenda. It's actually an agenda we thought you could do. It's an agenda that is almost like a decade-long agenda, which we are squeezing. We have met quite a whole chunk of them. We have surpassed targets targets for 4 years we have surpassed in 2 years plus. Some were not yet there, and some new ones that have come. For example, on the 5 pillars, security, law, and the other, we have to deepen those, as I've mentioned before, surveillance technology, and deepening the kinetic and non-kinetic. On the infrastructure and economic transformation, I tell in the Anambra, the Americans will say, you ain't seen nothing yet. We're ratcheting this up. We've finished a design of the industrial city. The former Mahindra has helped us do that. On infrastructure, the CPCS of Canada, we have a rail master plan. We're now thinking about alternative financing models, possibility for that, rail and water, transportation, in addition to the continuing revolution on our land transportation system, our water system. We have deepened quite 5 urban systems, but we now need to take it the entire state as much as we can. Our electricity, we need to unbundle, we need to open that particular sector. We now have a regulatory commission, but that is one heavy area we need to lift. Then you get into our health, education. We have a long list in terms of our economic transformation, the 3 new cities that are on the board, and then the health, education, quite a huge agenda there. For example, you won't believe it, that in Anambra, since Adam was created, we just discovered, once we began to pay attention to public schools, that there are 76 communities in Anambra that have never had one primary school owned by government. 76 communities. And we're beginning an agenda now to begin to close that gap. And we'll begin massive construction. We're taking the first 20 before the end of this year, awarding contracts on those to begin, and so on and so forth. On health, we have a huge agenda. In education, there is a new, just to complete the ecosystem, supply of manpower, a new University of Education in the pipeline, tertiary circuit in terms of the health sector. We've built a world-class trauma center at the teaching hospital. We're now connecting the dots with regards to the supply of personnel and continuing to refine that particular sector.
Your Excellency, we're totally getting out of time. Babajide, your question.
Well, we seem to have clearly run out of time now. But I want you to briefly talk about Anambra's fiscal strength. You talk about plans for different projects. You can't do this without the solvency to go with it. At what stage did you meet the internet generator, the new situation of the state, where are you currently?
We met it about 1.5 billion, 1.6 billion a month. We're now at an average of about 4, so far this year, 4, a little bit more than 4 average for the year, a little over 4 billion a month average. But that's still a far cry from where we need to be relative to our potentials. Let me be clear. Our agenda is huge. The major thing that has driven us all through this while is our mantra of doing more with less. Prudence, prudence, prudence. every kobo, every naira, we make sure we have maximum value, for every 1 naira that we spend. And we prioritize. That's why we're spending about 77% of our budget is on capital expenditure. And you look at our cost per unit comparatively, in terms of our efficiency gains. But there is a limit to that. There's a limit to efficiency gains, prudence, and management that can take you. Then you need scale, okay? And we've set out, yes, we haven't borrowed. There's no bank that we've approached or anything syndicating loan. But we'll set out very clear standards for possibility of raising money. Financing will have to ratchet up internally generated revenue. And then for our projects, our criterion is that it has to be bankable project. We'll borrow for bankable projects. Projects that have the capacity to pay back. We're not going to borrow for consumption. We borrow for
profit yielding.
Yeah, projects that will have capacity, bankable projects that will have capacity to pay back. And we're exploring all those alternative, financing mix that will be able to get us, hit on all cylinders at a time. The agenda is huge. We're in a haste. Like I said, we're running, even now that we're campaigning. We're supposed to be campaigning, but we're still holding executive council meetings, reviewing projects. I'm calling my commissioner for work still doesn't rest because we're still running on this project. Where are we? How are we? When are we commissioning? When are we starting? And how far? This was supposed to happen by 50% by the end of the year. Where are we? I'm still going on project inspections, project commencements, and commissionings. I commissioned the general hospital, for example, 5 general hospitals, brand new general hospitals we've completed. I commissioned one of them. And coincidentally, all the 5 in the North Senatorial Zone. None in my own zone. That's a zone that doesn't have, most neglected zone, the North Senatorial Zone. So we are firing on all cylinders because, like I said, this agenda has a deadline.
Prof, we need to fire down because the cylinder is totally out of gas and meaning that...
have 20 minutes. I'm checking the time.
From my own time, it's less than 5 minutes.
No. You took our 15 minutes. We started by 7:15. But go on.
My question to you, really, is you're going to be a litmus test in the hands of the new INEC chairman. Are you confident about how the process will turn, especially under the new INEC leadership?
Let me be clear. I always, like I said, I always see Nigeria as half full. I'm a die-hard optimist, despite all our challenges. People have criticized INEC in the past, but I have always started based on my own experience. Based on my own experience. I stand every time to say that our electoral system has been getting better and better and better. Anambra was the first state that they tried statewide use of beavers in 2021. As I said, I stood there from 10:45 and I voted by 5:20 p.m. And I was still confident that the system would deliver. And the system delivered the will of the people. Now, we have a new leadership there. I am confident. This will be the first outing of the new leadership. And I want to believe that they themselves must be determined that this first outing, that there is a saying that you don't have a second chance to create a first impression. I am convinced that the INEC is itself preparing, and as usual here in Anambra, since I became governor, all the elections that have been done here have been credible, clear, transparent, and I'm sure I am confident it's going to be repeated. Yes, there are some people, some of the candidates who say their own is to go, they have written results, that they already have result sheets, They are going to try to bring it in. They will wreak violence and do orders and do whatever. Well, we are waiting. It has never worked here in Anambra. But we are not taking anything for granted. But we are determined as APGA. For us, we stand for free, fair, transparent, credible election. One man, one vote. Let the people vote, count the votes, announce the results. And we have undertaken on our own to mobilize, to support INEC, to make sure that this outing is going to be its very best. Because, like I said, let the people vote.
All right. Governor, we're totally out of time.
What message for the voters?
No, we are totally out of time. We are totally
What?
out of time. We're totally out of time. Yeah.
You took my 15 minutes. You took
your 15 minutes. of AIT, Adesua Omoran of Arise Television, and Babajide Kolade Otitoju, my colleagues in the television practice. Thank you so much, guys, for being part of it. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for also having us here on this media chat. And I wish the very people of Anambra say the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's really a great pleasure. Yeah. Wonderful. You guys have been
that's been it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Anambra State, a region defined by its rich culture, hard-working people, and vibrant communities. Here, a remarkable political movement is taking shape as local leaders and residents rally to support one vision for their future. Anambra is on the rise under Governor Chukwuma Soludo CFR, which is reflected in the growing retinue of endorsements.